Congratulations. You wake up. It's a Thursday. Your alarm goes off at 6:30 a.m. and you turn it off by accidentally putting your fist through the nightstand. Again, that's the third one this month. You make a mental note to buy another one on Amazon, maybe the kind they make for kids so it's cheaper, and you get up and start your day as the single most dangerous organism currently standing on the surface of planet Earth. You are the only Viltrumite on this planet. 1 out of 8 billion people. The entire Viltrum Empire, a civilization that purged its own weak, survived a bioweapon that killed 99% of its population and still controls most of the known galaxy, has exactly one representative on Earth right now. And that representative just destroyed their 4th nightstand this month. Let's talk about how this happened. Your Viltrumite parent was sent here on a standard infiltration assignment. Blend in, earn trust, find a mate, have children. You know the drill. Except you were the child, and somewhere between the part where they were supposed to raise you as a weapon of the Viltrum Empire and the part where you grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons and eating cereal straight from the box, things got a little complicated. Your Viltrumite parent is gone now. The details don't matter. What matters is that you are here alone, fully powered, and trying to figure out how to exist on a planet where the average person would disintegrate if you shook their hand at full strength. You figured out the powers on your own. That was fun. The strength came first. You noticed sometime around age 12 that you kept breaking things without meaning to. Pencils, doorknobs, a bike lock you were trying to open, a locker at school that definitely belonged to someone else, then the speed, then the flight, which you discovered by accident when you jumped off a low wall and just kept going up. You went about 400 feet before you figured out how to stop. You came down in a field outside town and just sat in the grass for a while, processing what was happening to your life. Nobody was there to explain any of it. No mentor, no manual, no mysterious organization showing up with a government badge and a job offer. Just you, a field, and the slowly dawning understanding that you are fundamentally not like anyone else on this planet. It's where it gets interesting. You have a job. You have to. Money is real and rent is real, and being the only Viltrumite on Earth doesn't make you exempt from either of those things. You work at a warehouse doing overnight logistics. You got the job because you can move freight faster than the forklifts and you don't get tired. Your supervisor thinks you're just really dedicated. He once called you the hardest worker he'd ever seen and gave you a $20 gift card to Applebee's. You still have it. You haven't gone because you're not sure what you'd do if someone bothered you in a restaurant and you'd rather just not find out. The warehouse job has one major advantage. You work alone, mostly. The fewer people around, the fewer situations where your body does something a human body is not supposed to do. Here's a thing people don't think about. You can't get hurt, not really. Not by anything on this planet. You've been hit by a car. Twice. Both times the car came off worse. You walked away from the second one and the driver was sitting there completely stunned and you had to pretend to be shaken up, which is hard to do convincingly when you're not shaken up at all. The problem isn't getting hurt. The problem is that you have to pretend you can get hurt or everyone around you immediately knows something is wrong. So when you bump your shin on a coffee table, you make the noise, you do the little hop, you grab your leg, you say, ow. None of it is real, but all of it is necessary because the alternative is someone watching you walk into a glass door at full speed and bounce off it without a scratch, and then you have to have a very long conversation you don't want to have. You have developed an entire internal vocabulary for this. You call it the calibration. Every interaction, every physical situation, you run it through the calibration first. How hard would a human feel this? What would a human do? How much reaction is appropriate here? It happens automatically now. Your strength sits somewhere in the range of lifting thousands of tons. You can break the sound barrier on foot. You can survive in the vacuum of space. Your lungs can hold air for up to 2 weeks. Your healing factor means that if something actually managed to injure you, which almost nothing on Earth can, you'd be fine within hours. You will likely still be alive in 1,000 years, looking basically the same as you do right now. The planet you are currently standing on has no one who can fight you. Let's just be clear about that. The strongest humans alive, athletes, soldiers, powerlifters, fighters, couldn't bruise you. The weapons that exist on Earth could not kill you. A nuclear weapon in your immediate vicinity would be a bad day. That's about the upper limit. You are, by every measurable metric, unkillable by anything this planet currently has the capacity to produce. And you work a night shift at a warehouse in Ohio. Now here's the part that gets complicated. Because power at this level doesn't just affect what you can do. It affects every relationship you've ever had or ever will have. You have friends, you do. You're not a complete recluse. But there is a ceiling on every friendship you've ever had, and that ceiling is invisible, and nobody knows it's there except you. You can get close to people up to a certain point. Then the maintenance kicks in, the things you can never say, the places the conversation can never go, the moments where someone asks you something simple about yourself, and you feel the whole architecture of the relationship resting on how carefully you answer. You've had one person find out. One. It was an accident. You were with them when something happened, a situation that required you to stop pretending, and afterward they looked at you differently. Not badly necessarily, but differently. There was a distance in their eyes that wasn't there before, like they'd revised the entire history of knowing you and were still processing the new version. You tried to pick up where you left off. It was mostly fine. But mostly fine is not the same as what it was before, and you both knew it. You haven't told anyone else since. Here's a question you think about more than you'd like to admit. What are you actually supposed to be doing? Because a Viltrumite on an assignment would have an answer to that question. Infiltrate, build trust, find a mate, have children, prepare the planet for eventual handover to the Empire, clear purpose, clear timeline, clear mission. But you don't have an assignment. Nobody sent you here with instructions. There's no handler checking in. There's no deadline. There's no thrag on the other end of a communication device telling you what the plan is. You are just here, living a life on a planet full of people who don't know what you are, with powers that have no context and no framework for what any of it is supposed to add up to. Some days you fly, not to get anywhere, just to fly. You go high enough that the air gets thin and the curve of the earth becomes visible, and you hang there for a while looking down at everything. 8 billion people going about their lives below you, and you up here, alone, the only one. From up here, the planet looks very small and very quiet. You stay until you feel something settle, and then you come back down. You land in a field or a parking lot, and you put the calibration back on, and you walk inside, and you heat up some food, and you watch TV, and you go to sleep with your full body weight on a mattress that you have destroyed 3 of in the last 4 years. Here's the part where the real problem lives. The Viltrum Empire is out there. Still. Reduced, weakened, down to a few dozen purebloods after the scourge virus wiped out most of the population, but still out there. Still expanding. Still running infiltration programs. Still sending Viltrumites to planets like this one. And as far as you know, you are on a planet that is currently on a list somewhere. A planet flagged as genetically compatible. A planet worth watching. You don't know when, you don't know how many, but the math is not complicated. If the Empire was going to infiltrate Earth, and Earth is exactly the kind of planet the infiltration program targets, then either someone is already here, and you don't know about it yet, or someone is coming, and it's a matter of time. And when that happens, you are going to have to make a decision about what side you're on. Because here's the thing nobody talks about when they imagine what it would be like to have superpowers on Earth. The question isn't just what can you do, the question is, what are you for? A Viltrumite soldier answers that question easily, the Empire. Always the Empire. That's the entire framework. Strength serves the mission. The mission is conquest. Simple. But you grew up here. You went to school here. You have a job here. You have friends here, limited and complicated as those friendships are. You have watched people here struggle and build and love things and lose things and keep going. You have watched 8 billion people who couldn't threaten a Viltrumite teenager continue to build something together anyway, out of nothing but stubbornness and the basic unwillingness to stop. And you don't know yet what you'd do if someone showed up and threatened all of that. But you think you know. You think you already know. You're just not ready to say it out loud yet. You come down from the sky. You land in the field. You put the calibration back on. You go home. You order a new nightstand, the cheap kind. You go to work. You move freight through the dark. And outside, above everything, the same stars that Viltrumites navigate by are visible, tiny and indifferent, waiting to see what you do.